Good afternoon from Delaware. Good afternoon. Today is December 30th, 2025. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. Most of you asked about the K-1 Fiancé visa on my last live stream. So today I'm breaking it down clearly and honestly so we can do it step by step. So in this video, we'll talk about what the K-1 visa is and who qualifies, step-by-step K-1 visa process, how to properly complete Form I-129F, which is the petition for alien fiancé. And then we'll talk about common mistakes that delay or deny cases. We'll do some timelines, costs, and interview expectations. And we'll also mention some of the serious consequences of fake marriages and immigration fraud. Remember that this video is especially for people who are in long distance relationships, US citizens planning to marry abroad, or anyone confused about USCIS forms and visa abbreviations. Just remember that this video is for educational purpose only and it's not legal advice. So make sure as you're coming in, good afternoon, share the live, join, share, like on TikTok. We are live on TikTok and we are live on YouTube. So I think on Sunday, I did a live and there were so many questions about the K-1 visa. So today we are going to break that down. So let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you can hear me. Drop a thumbs up on YouTube. Thank you for joining. Drop a thumbs up. Happy holidays. It's the 30th of December. The year is almost over. Thank you so much for all your support in 2025. And as we move on to 2026, thank you so much for your support. And I hope that we'll continue with this same spirit. My name is Lucy. I'm in Delaware. The channel is Lucy Mwangi USA. We talk about legal pathways of coming to the US. We talk about US immigration updates, the DV lottery program, and life in the US as an African immigrant. So thank you so much for letting me know that you can hear me. Let me see who's here. Maurice. Happy holidays. Happy holidays from Kenya in Siaya. Lillian, your happy holidays and happy new year in advance. Hope tunakuja hivi karibuni from Kenya to the US. Thank you very much for letting me know that you can hear me on TikTok. Thank you guys from Ethiopia, from Oklahoma. Thank you so much. TikTok, like the live, share the live. This is my last live stream of 2025, guys. So support me. Tap on the screen, double tap the screen, share the live. Let's spread some joy. Let's talk about 2025 after we finish talking about the K-1 visa. So later on, we'll talk about what's going on with 2026 DV, even if we've been talking about this like on a daily basis, but we'll talk about that. But briefly, let me do just a quick presentation about the K-1 visa for people who are interested in going through that route, because that's one of the things that we talk about on my channel is legal pathways of coming to the United States. So if you think the K-1 visa is an easy way to bring someone to America, or you believe marriage papers can be arranged, this video is for you. But I have to give you a serious warning about K-1 visas. This is one of the visas that people get denied because they cannot prove that the marriage is bona fide. So when you're engaging in these dating websites, and we talked about that on Sunday, make sure that this is a real relationship, because sometimes during the interviews, if the information doesn't match, then you guys will be denied the visa. So let's break it down first by talking about what the K-1 visa is for those people who are not familiar with the definition of a K-1 visa. So a K-1 visa, also called the Fiancé visa, is a special US visa that allows a foreign fiancé of a US citizen to enter the United States for the purpose of getting married within 90 days of arrival. So once they are married, the foreign spouse can stay in the US and apply for a green card, which is also called permanent lawful permanent resident card. So who qualifies for a K-1 visa? There are main eligibility rules, and we'll talk about them. The first one is the sponsor must be a US citizen, not a green card holder. You must both be legally free to marry, no current marriages. So you cannot be getting like a second wife, third wife, second husband, third husband. No, it is, you have to be legally free to marry. If you were married before, you have to be divorced before you can move on to the next marriage, or before you can move on with the K-1 visa. You must have met in person at least once in the last 2 years. There could be some rare exceptions, but this is the main eligibility requirement, is that you have to have met the person within the last, at least once within the last 2 years. You intend to marry within 90 days of the fiancé entering the US. So this is a non-immigrant visa. It is not an immigrant visa like the spousal one. No, this one, you're getting a non-immigrant visa, which is temporary, and you have 90 days to get married to your US citizen before, before it expires. Once it expires, if you're not married by then, you will be sent back home. So the step-by-step of how the K-1 visa process works. First, we will talk about the petition, which is Form I-129F, which is the petition for alien fiancé. So in this case, the US citizen files this form. So the US citizen files one form, and the fiancé abroad files another form, and that is the DS-260. So somebody's trying to call me. So the petition proves the relationship is real and that both of you intend to get married. So like I said before, you have to show proof that this marriage is bona fide, the marriage is real, and we'll talk about some of the things that you can use as proof. The next step is the National Visa Center and the embassy. Once USCIS approves the case, is sent to the National Visa Center and then to the US Embassy or the consulate where your fiancé is. So the petition is happening here in the United States, and USCIS is the one that is handling that. Once they approve that petition, it goes to the National Visa Center, and then they forward it to your embassy or consulate, okay? After that, the fiancé will complete the online visa application for from DS to 160. 260 is for the non-immigrant visa. Form DS-160 is the online application for non-immigrant visa, and then they'll prepare for the visa interview. Make sure that the stories are matching. The stories for both of you, the people who are dating and wanting to use the K-1 visa to come to the US. The stories have to match. The next step is the visa interview. The fiancé attends an interview at the US Embassy or consulate. So this is not one of those that they attend together. So the fiancé abroad, for example, if you're in Kenya, you're going to attend the interview in Kenya. And then the interview is to review documents and to demonstrate that the relationship is genuine. They must bring important paperwork like passport, medical exam results, birth certificate, and evidence of your relationship. The biggest thing is the evidence of your relationship, because that will go a long way into deciding whether you'll be qualified for the visa or approved for the visa or not. So once it's approved, once the visa is approved, your fiancé can travel to the US. The couple must marry within 90 days of entry. So once you get here, you guys have to get married. You can go to the office of registrar of marriages, or you can have a big wedding. It doesn't matter, but you have to get married within 90 days of entry. If you do not marry within 90 days of the window, that 90-day window, your fiancé legal status will expire and they must leave the United States and try again. So this is where it becomes tricky, because if you have a disagreement with your fiance, they can hold that against you. They can blackmail you. They can refuse to file for you. They can refuse, they can delay the process and, have you sent back. So be careful who you are engaging with. Make sure you're in good terms. Make sure that you both know what to do and the timelines. After the marriage, your spouse can apply for a green card, which is called adjustment of status, and then they can become a lawful permanent resident. But for those 90 days that you're here, you're still you're still a non-immigrant. You don't have the legal rights of a green card holder. Okay. Let's talk about the timelines. How long does it take? K-1 process times vary, but here's the general idea. Form I-129F approval often takes about 5 to 10 months. It can take longer than that, depending on the processing times and service center caseload. And then embassy processing and interview scheduling. So that depends on the consulate abroad or the embassy abroad. So the total from start to finish to visa issuance is usually 8 to 12 months. Sometimes it can take longer depending on what's going on with your particular case. So each case is different. Delays often come from missing documents or requests for evidence. Once they suspect that this is a fraudulent marriage, they will continue asking for evidence. Somebody on TikTok is asking Stopper, how are you, Stopper? Happy holidays. What is the topic for today? The topic for today is the K-1 visa, is the fiancé visa, but we'll talk about the DV lottery later on. Make sure you double tap the screen on TikTok, like the live, share the live. On YouTube, like the live and share the live. So what about the costs? How much does it cost? These are approximate costs or fees. These fees keep changing. So make sure you go to uscis.gov to make sure you see the most up-to-date fees. But as of 2025, filing the I-129F is $685. These forms are not cheap to file. Immigration process is not cheap. It's one of the most expensive processes, but for a lot of people, it's worth it. So that is the amount for the form for the filing for the fiancé. Form I-129F, the filing fee is $685. And then Form DS-160 for the non-immigrant visa application, the fee is paid by the fiancé back home. The fiancé, like in Kenya, abroad meaning out of Kenya, out of the US, sorry. So that one currently is $185. So total, you can do the math, and other costs that are incurred, including medical fees, translation. If you don't speak English or your documents are not in English and you need those translated, travel fees, trips that you guys take because you want to show evidence of being together. So stuff like that. So make sure you are keeping that in account. So like I said, make sure you go to the website USCIS to check the fees, and the Department of State, travel.state.gov to see the current fees. Here are some tips for a successful K-1 visa application and approval. Make sure you're organizing your paperwork carefully. Include clear proof of your relationship, photos, messages, travel receipts, any hotel places you've stayed, pictures with the family, any conversations on FaceTime, stuff like that. Make sure you include that with the dates, and make sure it has some timelines. They want to show that you know this person over the last 2 years. You have a relationship with this person. It's just not somebody you saw on a dating website and you decided that because they are in the US, you want to hurry up and get married quickly and come to the United States. So that's marriage fraud, immigration fraud, and it's a crime. So don't do that. Be honest and consistent. USCIS and consulates check details carefully. Prepare thoroughly for the visa interview. Like I said, make sure you guys are on the same page. You're singing the same song. They want to know personal information. So learn your person, know about them intimately, know about their family, because any question can come up. And if you're saying that this is a real relationship, some of the things you should be able to tell about your person. So make sure you know that. So the K-1, consider legal help if the case is complicated. If you need to get a lawyer to help you through the process, you can do that. But for the most part, if you guys know for a fact that this relationship is real, you shouldn't need to have a lawyer. You should just be able to follow the instructions and file your paperwork. The K-1 visa is a powerful way to bring your fiancé to the US to start your life together, but it takes patience, it takes accuracy and good documentation. So if you have specific questions after watching this video, make sure you drop them in the comments and I will try and answer them if I can. So let's go to the comment section. But before that, Form I-129, let me show you what it looks like for you guys who have not seen it before. But these forms are available on USCIS and they're also available on travel.state.gov. So this is on YouTube. I'm sharing Form I-129F is the petition for alien fiancé. And it says that you have to read the instructions of how to complete the form before you apply. I always advise for you guys to read the instructions so that you know what is expected. Use this form to petition to bring your fiancé K-1 and their children K-2 to the US so you may marry your fiancé. So if they have children, they can come along. And then spouse K3 and their children K4 to the US to await the approval of a Form I-130 filed on behalf of your spouse. So you can do those two things. And then they have a form here, Form I-129F in PDF, where you can see what it looks like, petition for alien fiancé. This is to be completed by the US citizen. So if I was trying to bring someone, maybe let's say I have a boyfriend in Kenya and I want to bring them, I would do this, but I will have to make sure that I have met that person within the last 2 years at least once. So I would go to Kenya, I take pictures with the person, make sure I'm engaging with the family and showing proof of communication. And then I will come back and complete this form to petition for the fiancé. So it has my own information. I'll put my social security number here and I'll put my full name. It has different sections for my own information. I'll put my address, my employment history over the last 5 years, address over the last 5 years. If you guys on TikTok, you want to join YouTube so you can see what I'm sharing, you're welcome to do that as well. Information about my employment over the last 5 years. And then they are asking how am I a US citizen? Am I a US citizen by birth in the United States or by naturalization or by a US citizen parent? Have you obtained a certificate of naturalization or certificate of citizenship in your own name? Then I would say yes, and I will put the certificate number, place of issuance, the date of issuance, and then more information. Have I ever filed for a Form I-129F before? Then I would say yes or no. If I say yes, then I have to put the information of the person that I had filed for. So let's say, for example, I had done this process before and maybe things didn't work out and we got divorced, then I have to put that information there for the person who I was engaged to or married to before. And then they'll ask me if I have any children. Do you have any children under 18 years of age? I would say yes or no. And then I will put their age there. And then you will provide the US states and foreign countries in which you have resided in the last since your 18th birthday. Okay, so then I will put that information there. And so this is just information about me up to that point. The petitioner is the person here in the United States. Okay, and then after that, if they're asking for information about the beneficiary. The beneficiary is the person who I'm filing for, the person abroad, my fiance now. So that's why it's important to know your person, make sure they're sending you correct information, because then you'll need all that information here. So you put all your beneficiary information here. Beneficiary is the person you're filing for. And then after that, you will sign the application, and it will be sent over to the USCIS. Will process that, and they will approve it or they will deny it. If they approve it, they will send it to the National Visa Center, and then obviously they might ask you for proof, paperwork, for you to submit paperwork. And then if all that is approved, then they will send your case to your embassy back home. So that's pretty much what the Form I-129F looks like for those people who are interested in filing or in coming to the US using a fiancé visa. I know there's somebody on TikTok who was asking me how to go about it, because they're a US citizen and they want to go home and get married, and then and then another one was asking if they can do a fiancé visa if they are a green card holder, and that answer is no. You have to be a US citizen. So let's see if you have any questions related to that. If not, we will move on and continue talking about the diversity visa program. So let me see what questions you have on YouTube. What's new about DV 2026? Nothing new so far. Actually, somebody said, I had two people on TikTok who said that, TikTok, thank you for your feedback. They said that 2NLs are starting to be issued again. If there's anybody on this live chat who has received their 2NLs, can you please let me know? I got 2 messages this morning saying that they have started reissuing 2NL, second notification letters. So anybody else who has that testimony? Somebody said they received theirs yesterday. Al-Hamad is asking, do I need to file Form I-129 on a certain type of paper? If so, what type of paper? It's an online application, and I just showed you where it is. You can print it. It's a PDF. You can print it and see what it looks like, but it's an online application. Okay. Somebody's asking, case number 37K. We won with your family, speaking from Kapcherop, Kenya. I'm happy to be part of your channel. Okay. Just keep hope alive. 37K is not bad for Africa and Kenya. If it's true, especially in Kenya, I got feedback. People are saying 2NLs are being issued again. So 37K is not bad, considering that the visa bulletin right now, the current case numbers are anything below 45,000. So I wish you all the best if you're waiting for your 2NL to get there, or you're waiting for your visa interview. Kato Francis, I have a question. Assume I got married after getting a DV visa and I travel to the US, join the military, and I acquire citizenship. How and when will my spouse enter the US? So if you got married after winning the DV and you travel to the US to join the military and acquire citizenship, then okay. So once you acquire citizenship, it's very easy to apply for your spouse. It usually doesn't take a long time. That's one of the visas that are always available, is for filing when you're filing for your immediate relative. Immediate relative means your wife, your kids, or your parents. So you can just go ahead and file for them to come. Yeah, that's the same question you're asking. So once you are a US citizen, filing for your immediate relative it doesn't take as long as filing for everybody else. On TikTok, double tap the screen. Let me see who's on TikTok. Will a husband still come with K-1 visa and go through the same process? So for married couples, it's a marriage visa, it's a spousal visa, it's a different from K-1, because K-1 you're not married. K-1 you're not married. You're just engaged. You're waiting to come to the US and then get married. You have 90 days to do that, Stacy. 2NL from which group, girl? You're saying 2NL from which embassy? Kenya, Nairobi embassy. That's the information I got this morning from the messages. I'm watching live from Benin. Dory, thank you for watching. Hi, hi, hi. Live from Ghana. Dear, thank you for watching. Live from Ghana. How are you guys? Is it easier to come to the US as a student? F1 visa, if you're not from a travel banned country, then you can try that. Just make sure you have enough money, sponsorship, somebody who's willing to. You have to show financial capability to take care of your tuition and for your accommodation and living expenses. And then obviously you need the I-120, the I-20 to show that you've been accepted to United States college. Okay. I have some questions to ask. Go ahead and ask. About DV 2026 winners, Mohammed, you're asking what is happening to DV lottery. The DV lottery program is currently on pause, just the visa issuance, not the whole program itself. They are still continuing with the visa interviews at different embassies, but they are not issuing the actual visas. Okay. Simple boy. How is the DV lottery? Are they still processing? Are they stopped? They're still processing. Like I said, they're not providing their visas. Mrs. Ntabo, watching from Tayana from Ngong, Nairobi, from Ethiopia. Haile, thank you for watching. Happy Christmas. Thank you so much, guys. I'm checking to see if there's any specific questions. But thank you for being here on my live stream today. This is my last live stream of the year 2025. So I wanted to thank you guys for supporting me throughout the year. For those of you who are joining, if you're just joining in, we are talking about the K-1 visa. The K-1 visa is a fiancé visa. It's one of the pathways that you can use to come to the United States. One of the requirements is that you have to be a US citizen to file for someone, and you have to know that person and show evidence that you have a relationship with this person and you have physically met with the person at least once within the last 2 years. You have to show proof that the relationship is bona fide. That means it's real. They don't want any marriage fraud or any immigration fraud, because that's a crime. And pretty much the form that you need to complete, the petitioner completes Form I-129F, which is the petition for alien fiancé, and the beneficiary, which is the person abroad outside the US, completes Form DS-160, which is the online application for a non-immigrant visa. Hi from Kenya, Kirosi. Hi from Kenya. Is it easy to come to the US without getting a green card? You can visit. You can come as a visitor. You can come as a religious worker. You can come as a cruise ship worker, student. There are different ways of coming to the US. Also, you can play the lottery every year. You can come through your employer. You can find, like if you're highly skilled and highly educated and highly skilled, you can come through the H-1B visa and other employment-based visas. So for those who are asking for their specific case, you might need to follow up with your lawyer about your specific case, because like I said, this channel is not for legal advice. So just follow up with your lawyer to find out what's going on with your specific case, uh, about your priority dates and all that. But there's a timeline on USCIS that tells you how long you should be expecting to, depending on when you filed, how long you should be expecting. And that also, it depends on your country. Some countries have longer delays than others, depending on your embassy. How can my relative who is in the US assist me in coming to the US? I'm from Kenya. I think we answered that question on Sunday. Okay. All right, guys. Today, I just wanted to quickly talk about the K-1 visa. I don't see any other new questions. So I wish you guys all the best as you prepare for 2026. I hope the year is going to be way better immigration-wise than than 2025. So I appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you guys in 2026. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys on TikTok. Follow me, Lucy Mwangi USA, on YouTube. We talk about legal pathways of coming to the US. We talk about US immigration updates, DV lottery program, and life in the US as an African immigrant. Thank you guys for watching. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Thank you, TikTok.